Alrighty, so like the title says, there are two big mistakes that I often see intermediate improvisers make that really get in the way of their improvement. And really this has to do with how they practice and implement the things they learn or what they do or don't do with language. The two mistakes are the following. One, thinking too big, and two, not extrapolating. So let's say that you transcribe a 2/5 line. Here's a good one from Barry Harris. The first mistake, thinking too big, means that you don't see the lick as being made up of smaller cells. You see the lick as one big unit that you keep trying to insert into your playing or that you hope will appear in its entirety in your improvisation. So you may learn a 2/5 line and apply it to every 2/5 in the song. That's better than only playing it in one spot, sure, but you can't stop there. You need to work to understand the parts that make up the lick so that you can rearrange them into new licks. So using this one as an example, we need to realize things like, okay, there's a part that outlines the 2 chord. It's an arpeggio. And there's a part that outlines the 5 chord, which is also an arpeggio. So the most basic understanding we have is like, I have a 2/5 lick, I can play it over any similar 2/5. The next step beyond that is realizing that the lick is made of smaller cells that we can mutate. But we also can't stop there, and that leads me into the second mistake, which is not extrapolating, which means that you don't work to find ways to use the language that aren't just the original form. This is how we get the most bang for our buck when we transcribe. So once you identify the components of the lick, saying, okay, it's made of these smaller cells, you should ask yourself, how else can I say the same thing or get the same idea across? So if the 2 part of my lick is this, I can also play this, I can play this, I can play this, all of which communicate similar ideas. If you also did this with the 5 part of the lick, which is this, you could get this, you could get this, and this is where it gets really interesting, because if you put 2 variations together, you could go from this to this. And, to that you may say, well, that's not even the same lick, so why do it? But that's exactly the point. This is what it means to learn language, to achieve fluency in a language. You don't get to the point where you can speak freely in another language by just memorizing a bunch of big sentences and then saying them enough. That will never turn into fluency. You have to understand the underlying components to the point that you can manipulate them. It's like building with Legos, man. You can make a lot of things by rearranging 50 small pieces, but if someone hands you 3 big pieces, you're like, cool, I can make like 2 things with this. Make sense? Cool. Good luck.